UFC Seattle. Israel Adesanya taking on Joe Pyfer. Circled back to another Seattle card. It's actually pretty good. I don't know why they do this every time, but every year it seems that the Seattle card is actually pretty solid. So, yeah, as you guys know, we're doing a full card breakdown and predictions, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. Let's get straight into it. First up, we have Alexia Thainara versus Bruna Brazil. I'm taking Thainara here. She's actually a pretty heavy favorite from what I remember. Yeah, holy shit. And actually, I don't know what I put on my thing, what you're seeing. What I'm seeing right now is minus 850. So someone's hammering the line even more. So Thainara is typically a wrestler. She likes to kind of she has that brute style that a lot of women's MMA fighters have, where they have more testosterone than the other person and they're just gonna show it by shoving you against the fence and being stronger than you. And that's a lot of what Alexia Thainara does. And especially once you do get to the ground, she's not the type to kind of just like sit there and pitter patter her way from a dominant position and like not try and advance from a full guard or a half guard. She likes to advance position. She likes to ground and pound the shit out of you until you give your back or you give a limb, and then she chases subs. On the other side of things, Bruna Brazil kind of plays into Thainara's style, where she sits on the back foot and she tries to play this kind of tit-for-tat kickboxing game like a lot of women's MMA fighters do, which I don't like at all. I think with that style, she's kind of just waiting at that point to be taken down and submitted or just ground and pounded out. I think that you need to have really, really good movement, and you need to have the ability to spark someone if they're chasing you the whole time, because otherwise there's no resistance. Like, either you have godly footwork and you can keep circling off the cage and picking shots, or you need to be able to like land some sort of a pull counter and stop that forward momentum. And Bruna Brazil doesn't really have that. And she's been inconsistent in the past with these sorts of matchups where people are walking her down, or maybe they're not. Like, you just don't really know what you're getting from Bruna Brazil. And Alexia Thainara has done very well in the UFC, and this matchup favors her. So I have her winning a TKO here. I have her winning it in the second round. I can see it by ground and pound. I can see it up against the fence. Maybe they break from the clinch and she unloads a flurry. I have Alexia Thainara in this one. I think she gets it done probably pretty handedly. I don't trust Bruna Brazil at all. I mean, I think that I'm going to look right here. If I had to guess, I would say that she's probably split every single one of her UFC fights. She's 3-4. So technically she's due for a win here, actually. We're taking Thainara. Up next, we have Ricky Simón versus Adrian Yanez. We're taking Ricky Simón here. Adrian Yanez is another guy who's just way too inconsistent. Ricky Simón recently has looked pretty good, especially with mixing up his weapons. Not necessarily in a very pretty sense. Like when we saw against Cameron Smotherman, shoved him up against the fence, kind of made it ugly. Didn't get too much work done, but held a lot of control time, and he did mix up when he was shooting takedowns, when he was standing on the feet, whether he would go high or low. And then obviously he had the big knockout over one of the Boshrop brothers. He spun his head around clean. It was disgusting. And Adrian Yanez, he gets taken down actually quite a bit. And once he does get taken down, he's kind of accepting of the position. I don't know if that's like a confidence issue or a game plan issue or what it is, but that seems to be a problem with him. And I think that he had a lot of momentum early on in his UFC career. And once he hit that brick wall that was Rob Font, it kind of just has gone all downhill since then. Ricky Simón, man, he's a crafty guy. He's hard to figure out. He's going to push you against the fence if he can't land takedowns. And if you can't circle off and you are accepting of the fact that you're getting kind of manhandled at that point, you're gonna lose. And I think Yanez needs space. He needs time to work off of feints, and Ricky Simón's not going to give that to him. Unloading that overhand, which is going to probably keep Yanez on the back foot. It's going to make him fully reset once he does circle back to a safe spot. And then at that point, Simón can just blast a double leg, or he can shove you against the fence, or he can throw another overhand. And I don't trust Yanez's power, because the only people that he's really knocked out have been people with terrible chins. I don't see it. I don't see it for Adrian Yanez here. I'm gonna take Ricky Simón. I'm gonna take him by decision. I think it's gonna be kind of one of those grinded out fights like he had against Cameron Smotherman, where maybe Yanez lands a few good shots late like Cameron Smotherman did, but overall it's probably gonna be a control fest. Simón probably wins 29-28, maybe 30-27. Too many weapons, not enough coming back the other way, not enough takedown defense coming from Yanez. We'll take Ricky Simón here. Up next on the card, we have Navajo Sterling versus Bruno Lopez. I'm not going to take long on this one. I'm taking Navajo Sterling. I compared him to Izzy a lot in the past. He's not really so much. I think it's just more so that city kickboxing style of feints where they really just throw a lot more feints than they do actual strikes. But Navajo Sterling is good. I do worry about him a little bit. I think that at times he becomes really hittable. He's dangerous early because his footwork is so sharp and he's fresh and his guard is good. But then once he starts to get a little bit tired, his guard starts to drop a little bit, and I've seen him get pushed backwards, back up in a straight line and take like 2, 3, 4 shots on the chin at a time, which I don't like. But at the same time, Bruno Lopez blows. He doesn't throw more than 2 punches at a time. His chin sucks, especially coming off that Dustin Jacoby KO. That was bad. He did take the necessary time off that you need to take off after getting flatlined like that. But when he faces these guys, these kickboxers like a Brenson Ribeiro, who also knocked him out, by the way, now that I'm remembering. When he fights a guy like Dustin Jacoby, who's also a high-level kickboxer, he's what's the game plan? Like, try and push him up against the fence? He's a fat blob. He's not going to be able to, like, cut the cage off and get hands on him. He's going to get probably put away inside of 1 round. Another worry, though, that I do have with Navajo Sterling is that he seems to fumble finishes all the time. Or it's like he's supposed to get a finish and it's like nowhere to be seen. Each and every single time that I've seen him in the octagon, it's like he hurts them like really bad. And then 2 minutes go by and you're like, wait, how the is this fight still going? Didn't he hurt him like really bad like 3 times? He just can't finish the fight. I don't know what the deal is. So hopefully that doesn't happen here. But to be honest with you, I don't trust Bruno Lopez's chin at all. And I can see a highlight reel KO. I'm taking Navajo Sterling. Hopefully he doesn't get sloppy if the fight does go to the 2nd or 3rd round. But I can see him getting a 1st round KO here. Up next, we have Casey O'Neill versus Gabriela Fernandez. I'm leaning Casey O'Neill in this one, I think. This is actually kind of a similar matchup to the Alexia Dainara and Bruna Brazil fight, where one of the fighters likes their space. They like being with their back to the octagon, circling constantly, slapping low kicks, jabbing here and there, and playing it safe that way. And on the other side of things, it's a pressure style of fighter. Not so much that Casey O'Neill and Dainara are similar in the sense that Dainara is more of a brute and O'Neill is more so just like sheer volume. Similar in the sense that one's going to be backing up the whole time, circling, trying to pick shots lightly, and the other one's just going to be walking them down the whole time. And in women's MMA, I just tend to lean toward the person that's walking forward because there's not a lot of damage that gets done in women's MMA fights, and the judges tend to look toward who just had more output. Gabriela Fernandez is another one of those fighters who's kind of just like inconsistent. Like, she looked really good against Wonton, and then I know, right? I can't believe that chick's name is Wonton, by the way. It's fucking crazy. And then she won against Julia Stoliarenko, where it's like, okay, Julia Stoliarenko like might actually have like a negative record if I remember correctly. But she finished Wonton, and then she fights Stoliarenko to a decision, and I'm like, okay, so what's the deal here? Which, to be fair, Fernandez's style is to pick on the outside, but I just like the pressure, dude. In women's MMA, I always, nowadays at least, I tend to just ride on the fact that if you have pressure, if you have a pressure style of fighting in women's MMA, I'm probably gonna take you to win. Unless you're fighting Natalia Silva or some shit, you know what I mean? This fight's kind of a toss-up, to be honest. I can see this going to a classic WMMA 29-28 split decision. Oh, we don't know who won. And then, like, it might be a robbery, but no one actually gives a fuck and we just move on. So, yeah, honestly, I'm not going to stress getting this pick wrong. I'm taking Casey O'Neill, probably 29-28 split decision, and I'm moving on. Next fight on the card. Up next, we have Marcin Tybura versus Tyrell Fortune. I'm going to take Marcin Tybura. I don't like that. Yeah, so stylistically, Marcin Tybura is actually decently well-rounded. He is a fat sack of shit, but he is well-rounded. Does a few things that I fucking hate. Like, he throws that, like, he'll throw a front kick, but it's like a fade-away front kick. Like, he'll be falling away, jumping away, and he, like, slaps a front kick up the middle, and it, like, doesn't really land ever, but he does it all the fucking time. This has nothing to do with this matchup, but he pisses me the off, dude. I hate this guy. I don't know why. I've just like grown this hatred for Marcin Tybura. But he does mix in takedowns. He's well-rounded on the ground. He knows how to hold top control, which not a lot of heavyweights know how to do. Tyrell Fortune is the type of guy to get a first-round TKO. I mean, if you look at his Tapology, it's just KOs over and over and over. But his one recent loss was via a submission, I believe. Was it a heel hook? It might have been a heel hook. Double check me on that. I'm not going to click onto this guy's profile because I don't care enough. But it might have been a heel hook. I think I remember seeing that. And that's an issue, I think, with Tybura, because he actually does come into fights with a good game plan. And I can see him taking down Fortune and working on the ground for 3 rounds and just making it a slob fest. The worry here is that Tyrell Fortune's best combo is probably that slapping, like leaping 3-2, where the straight right hand just comes down the pipe like almost the same exact way that Aspinall knocked out Tybura. Not necessarily, because that was more of a, I guess it was kind of a 3-2, more of a 1-2. But still, that straight right hand is probably Tybura's weakness because you can split the guard pretty easily. He doesn't have a very tight, high guard. But I think that he probably just makes this a slop fest and it's boring because that's what Tybura does. And I fucking hate him. I don't want to talk about this guy anymore. Moving on. Up next on the card, we have Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson Jr. I'm going to take Chase Hooper and I fucking hate it. And I'm actually, as I'm talking about this fight, I kind of want to take Lance Gibson, but I can't. Lance Gibson's takedown defense isn't very good from what I can tell. Dude, I really want to take Lance Gibson to win this. Oh my fuck. I think Chase Hooper sucks, especially on the feet. He's helpless on the feet. I used to say, oh, he's making strides. He knows how to pick his shots. He can land the overhand now, like he did against Vyacheslav Borashev. It's like, oh, he can do that now. He's got tools on the feet. And then he fights. Who did he fight in his last fight? Alexander Hernandez. The fight was 4 minutes and 58 seconds. He probably did a spinning attack like 12 times. He's fucking retarded. He's genuinely stupid. I don't know if that's like his coaches telling him to do that but like I don't know if I've ever seen someone spin half that amount of times and win a fight. I don't know what the he is going through his head. Like, you're a grappler, dumbass. How about you work on a takedown entry? I fucking hate this. I'm taking Chase Hooper because I don't think Lance Gibson's takedown defense will hold up. I think that Chase Hooper will get him down, and I think he'll sub him because I don't think Lance Gibson is really UFC level, and I think that his stand-up game is passive. It's not bad, so to say, but it's just too passive, and he's not going to have enough output, I don't think, to be able to put a Chase Hooper type of a guy away. I think you need to be really explosive. I think you need to be on the front foot like Alexander Hernandez was against Chase Hooper. Yeah, Chase Hooper too, dude. I'm on a hate watch here, dude. This guy, he's retarded. Why do you spin that much? Stop. Work on a normal combination. Work on a normal combination and work on a takedown entry. You out-scrambled and outworked Jim Miller on the ground for 15 straight minutes. Why would you not go, hey, this is kind of what I'm good at now? And he already was good at it. Maybe I should work on a takedown or two. Helpless. Helpless. Oh, let's just wing high kicks and spin. Guy's a retard, dude. Moving on. Up next, we have Ignacio Bahamondes versus Tafik Musayev. I'm gonna go with Bahamondes here. He is actually the favorite in this. Wow. Tafik Musayev is the type of fighter to do cocaine before he walks out and then just dump the gas tank and try and finish you inside of a minute and a half. I think that's an issue with Bahamondes. But at the same time, I don't, because Bahamondes is very long and he will use his reach well at times, but then sometimes he uses combinations at range, but the combinations like crash him into the pocket, and sometimes he'll just like clinch when he's doing well at range. He'll like throw a combination and just crash in the pocket and they're like clinching all of a sudden and he's getting up in the clinch and he's not good there. So it's like, why bro, just sit on the outside, bro. You got good footwork, you're fast, you have power in your hands, you can go low high with kicks, you can put combinations together. Stop crashing into the pocket. And that's what Musayev probably wants Bahamondes to do, but I think that Bahamondes goes into fights with very good game plans. I will say that. I think the problem against Fiziev was actually what I just mentioned, that he would just get way too close and didn't realize it until he was there. And I think at the same time, Fiziev was probably like baiting that out, it seemed. For Musayev, I think he's sloppy. I think his gas tank probably is going to show serious wear and tear. Like, fucking guy's gonna get tired. Like, he's literally doing meth in the back. The fucking guy, there's no way he's not doing smelling salts or something. Bare minimum, he's doing smelling salts. But Bahamondes has, actually, he has great submissions off of his back too. So if Moussaiev does crash into the pocket and he blasts that double leg that he does, I trust Bahamondes to actually submit him from his back, like he did against Jalen. Was it Jalen Turner that he submitted? It was Jalen Turner with the triangle. That's right. And another thing is that I mentioned earlier, if you're the style of fighter to circle out on the edge and there's someone pressing you, you either need to have really good footwork and be really knowledgeable about where you are in the cage so that you can keep circling, or you need to have the ability to send power back the other way and stop the forward momentum. Bahamondes has that. He has the power to be like, all right, I'm going to find a pull counter because you won't off, I'm gonna land something. He has a nasty piston of a backhand. He'll pull counter that all day, I feel like. I don't think that Moussaiev's pressure is going to get to Bahamondes. As I've said, Bahamondes has great game plans going into his fights, so I think he's going to beat Tafik Moussaiev. I think he's going to finish him within the first or second round. I'll say second round, and I'm actually going to say submission. I think that first round, Moussaiev probably dumps his gas tank. Maybe he holds top control for a little bit, but I think Bahamondes will land a few shots in the second round. I think we get to the ground into some sort of a scramble. Bahamondes comes out on top and chokes him out of some sort. So we'll take Bahamondes. Up next, we have Terrence McKinney versus Kyle Nelson. I feel like a broken record at this point talking about Terrence McKinney because there's not really any real difference in any of the matchups that he's in other than, I guess, the person he's fighting. But that doesn't even change the matchup because Terrence McKinney fights, he is a glass cannon. And then again, I feel like a broken record. He's going to finish you inside of the first 2 minutes, or he's going to get finished directly after that. It's one of the two. And everyone knows that at this point. So I don't even know why the fuck I'm telling you that. But what I can tell you is that Terrence McKinney will most likely definitely finish Kyle Nelson inside of the first 2 minutes. Kyle Nelson is an educated counter striker, I guess you could say. At the same time, like if he lands anything of substance, he freaks out. Like a switch flips and he just goes retard. He just goes full retard. I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, oh, I hit you finally. Because he's very conservative with his output. And once he does throw, and if he hits you with something, it's like he like freaks out. He's like, oh my God, unloads everything. Everything's out. And it's not educated either. It's just like winging shots at you. And when I say that he's conservative, I mean like he'll literally sit on the back foot with like this loose high guard and just like put his back to the fence. He does it all the time. Good luck, man. Good luck against Terrence McKinney with that. You're just going to sit there and fucking wait. Be my fucking guest. And it's not like Kyle Nelson is like the type to outwill a guy like a Chris Duncan is. He's not going to like eat 3-4 shots on the chin and then just be like, oh yeah, more. Like he's not Chris Duncan, bro. He's been KO'd pretty bad in the past by that Quarantillo guy or whatever the fuck that guy's name is. Didn't he get stiffened by Steve Garcia? I'm gonna look at this shit. Yeah, dude, he got fucked up bad. Steve Garcia's a monster, but like still, dude, he's not Chris Duncan. Terrence McKinney is going to land. He always lands early. He hurts everybody, and he's gonna put him away. And if he doesn't, he lost. Simple. And he lost quickly after that. So we'll take Terrence McKinney by first round TKO. Up next on the card, we have Mansour Abdul Malik versus Yusri Belgarui. I'm actually going to go against the grain here a little bit because I know that I'm going to look on Tapology. I think, yeah, dude, 60% of people are taking Belgarui here. I don't think he's that good, man. For MMA, specifically. He's a lengthy, really skilled kickboxer. But when it comes to guys getting in on his hips, going through grappling exchanges, and he can't use his reach as much in this one because I'm pretty sure, you guys, I'm not looking at it, you guys are. I'm pretty sure that Mansour has the same reach, if not a bigger. I'm actually gonna look. I think the reach is like very similar. Yeah, Mansour has a bigger reach. You can't use that anymore. That's your best weapon. Other than like maybe your kicks now, you can resort to that. In the last fight, Bakoev has T-Rex arms. Looking back, it was like, yeah, how the f did we all not see that shit coming? Bakoev's takedown entries could use some work. If he doesn't get one, he's and he's not like a crazy athlete. He's going to get picked apart at range and eventually finished. That's what happened. I didn't see that coming because I'm retarded and I fell into the hype of Bakoev being actually good, even though he was probably mediocre at best. But Mansour has the same reach. He's extremely athletic. His takedown entries are actually pretty good. And originally it was that his fight IQ wasn't very good. We saw a pretty big switch up from that against Antonio Tricoli, which, I'm sorry, Antonio Tricoli might be single digit IQ, and that's not a joke either. Like, I don't, people might have chuckled at that. I'm not kidding. I think he's actually that stupid. But at the same time, it's like, Tricoli, lengthy striker, gonna sit at range, shoot a takedown. And that's exactly what Mansour did early. Shoot the takedown. We get into some sort of exchange on the feet. All right, rip a guillotine. I think it's going to be similar to that, dude. Maybe not a guillotine, but I think he's going to be able to get him down and he's going to be able to submit him. So I'm taking Mansour. First round finish for him. Up next, we have Julian Erosa versus Larian Douglas. I'm going to take Larian Douglas here. I think he gets this done early, actually. Julian Erosa is one of those guys like a Christian Rodriguez where he wins when he shouldn't and he loses when he shouldn't. So in this instance, he should lose. Based off of that trend, he might actually end up winning this somehow. But Erosa's game plan for all of his fights falls directly into Douglas's lap, which is forward pressure. And Larian Douglas is a patient counter striker with tons of power. And he waits for his moment and he strikes. If you're just walking into not even kickboxing range, boxing range, just like expecting to like impose your will on a guy like this, he's gonna like step off with outside foot position when you're not expecting it and fucking bomb one over the top. It's gonna happen. He has crazy power for this division too. The film that I watched of this guy, he colds people with like literally nothing. It doesn't even look like he swings that hard and they just go out. Yeah, I think Julian Erosa just walks into a shot here. And it's not like Julian Erosa has some sort of mixed game plan that maybe he goes into this fight trying to do this or he tries to do that. It's the same thing. That's why his UFC record is probably 50-50. And I'm not even looking, like, look it up right now. Look up Julian Erosa UFC record. I guarantee you it's not more than 1 or 2 off of 50-50. This guy's a 500 fighter in the UFC. He has the same game plan going into every fight. That's why he's lost so many times. He's going to get sparked off the dome and he's going to go to sleep inside of 1 round. Up next on the card, we have Michael Chiesa versus Nico Price. I'm not going to spend long on this one either. Michael Chiesa has to have some sort of dirt on Hunter Campbell. I don't know why he keeps getting gifted these 80-year-olds. I mean, like, the dude is on a 3-fight win streak against, look at this, Tony Ferguson, Max Griffin, Court McGee, and now Nico Price. What does he know? Like, why is he fighting only 40-year-olds, dude? Only 40-year-olds, by the way, who have fucking just been plowed through before. Guys who are coming off 3, 4, 5 straight losses, and they're like 41 years old. Like, oh, give him the Chiesa. Why? What did he do? What are we fucking doing? Chiesa's gonna take down Nico Price and submit him inside of 1 or 2 rounds. Done. No more. Moving on. Co-main event, we have Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber. Prior to the casual belief, Alexa Grasso is actually a boxer. And Macy Barber is more of a brawler, more of a grappler than anything. And I'm gonna take Macy Barber for that sole reason. I think that, didn't they fight in the past? I'm remembering like memes of this Macy Barber. They did. Oh my God. I think their first fight, Macy Barber was like, is that the shadow boxing meme? Dude, I think it's the I think that was that fight. I can't believe I didn't watch film on this. I'm like 99% sure that Macy Barber and Alexa Grasso in the first fight, Macy Barber was just like sitting beyond kickboxing range, just like fully unloading combinations, like into nobody. I'm like 99% sure that was the fight. Macy Barber's gotten a lot better since then, let me tell you. And her takedown entries are actually pretty good, which is a really big deal in women's MMA because you have any sort of educated approach to getting to your grappling, which is in this case probably Macy's specialty, you're setting yourself up for some success. Alexa Grasso doesn't necessarily have the best she doesn't have the best takedown defense. Her BJJ is actually not bad, hence her submitting Valentina. I like the idea that Macy Barber's gonna get in there and make this ugly and push her against the fence, land knees, land elbows, get away from that just let's low kick and jab, because that is essentially what Alexa Grasso loves to do, is just pump out a jab for 15, sometimes 25 minutes, and maybe throw low kicks in here and there, and don't really have too much crazy output and work off of that. Again, like, the imposing of the will in women's MMA is so big, dude. It's so big. I mean, we essentially have like the same style matchup for each and every single women's MMA fight on this card, and I'm rolling with one side of it in each and every single one of them, and it's the brute imposing of the will type of style. Yeah, I'm riding with Macy Barber in this one. She probably wins a decision here. Yeah, who cares? Moving on. Main event time. We have Israel Adesanya versus Joe Pyfer. Guys, I've watched film. I've watched other breakdowns. I'm in Discords for like paid picks for people that are very accurate. I've gone through a lot. I have no fucking idea. I'm going to take Izzy. I think people are looking at this loss that he had to Imavov like it was like some detrimental type of a thing where it's like, oh, dude, he's washed now. How's Imavov putting him away like that? Imavov, for one, is maybe the most, like, technically well-rounded fighter at middleweight. Is that crazy to say? Like, from a technical standpoint. Like, for one, he's also, like, pretty to watch, too. And he is a very sharp striker. He's not just winging overhands and left hooks like Joe Pyfer is. Like, he's very educated. He's stepping into range when he knows he can hit you. He's threatening the takedown to get you to lower your guard. He's feigning off of it. Joe Pyfer likes to lead hand fight and bomb an overhand and a left hook, which very well could put Izzy away, which is why I'm so, like, 50-50 here. Because Izzy, that fucking lead hand fight, dude, I can't get away from it. I can see him getting slept by it. Because essentially, that's how Izzy did get put out by Imavov, was that lead hand fight. Izzy went to switch stances. He didn't fully step out. He stepped back into range. Imavov ducked. He thought it might have been a takedown of some sort. He went to parry it and grabbed the lead hand almost with two hands, and the overhand came over the top. So if Izzy makes some sort of mistake like that, he's getting fucking slapped. Like, if Gastelum is almost going out by a punch from Pyfer, dude, Izzy might, like, go to the hospital if he gets hit by one of those. But I do think that it is just going to be a matter of, does Izzy not up on the lead hand fight? Because I don't think Pyfer's wrestling entries are any good at all. I know that his BJJ is really good, but I don't think he can actually get there. I think that he is very lead leg heavy, and that plays into Izzy's style, like, completely. Is like, a lot of Izzy's kickboxing is slapping low kicks, and a lot of his feints are feinting low kicks. I think if he can control that from there and not up on the lead hand fight, I think he wins this and maybe even TKOs Pyfer late in the fight. I have Izzy by round 4 TKO. It's either going to be a late TKO for Izzy, I think, or a decision. He looked really good against Imavov, dude. I think people are undervaluing that. Like, he looked good against Imavov in round 1. And all that does for me is show me how good Imavov is, that he could put the pieces together and find out where that weakness of Adesanya is. And that is the boxing, essentially, because that lead hand fight, you can get in close and back him up in a straight line and pop one over the top. Does Pyfer have that, dude? Can he put those pieces together? Dude, he's going to be walking into low kicks the whole time. And that's where the power comes from. If he takes your lead leg out, you don't have the power anymore to throw those bombs of overhands. If inside the first 2 minutes, this is how we're probably going to be able to tell. If Izzy lands 2 really clean low kicks inside the first 2 minutes, I think he wins. Because the power advantage is then gone. Because he can't plant and throw from there. If he doesn't, that might be bad. But also, the longer the fight goes on, the easier it's going to be for Izzy to make reads. I don't think Pyfer can make reads nearly as well as Izzy can. I don't think Izzy's as washed as people think. I think he is on the downslope for sure, but he's not as bad as people think. I'm taking him by late TKO or decision. I can see him getting slept, though, so who knows? Those are my picks for this card. I appreciate you. I apologize for not uploading a video this week. If you couldn't tell, I was deathly ill. I'm still recovering. So yeah, I got a video coming out. It's going to be a good one, I hope. I think it's going to be good from what I can tell from what I've been editing. It's almost done, so it'll be out soon. But I appreciate you guys for bearing with me. Like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.